You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Both days, highs between 92 and 95 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning. Welcome into Friday edition of Inside the Locker Room. About to have another week in the books. Chase, you've been here all week, right? Yeah, you've been here all week. So you ducked out on us last week, but you've been here all week. Everybody gives you a hard time, don't they, Chase? 205-342-9904 is the phone number if you want to jump in on the show with us this morning. Download the app. We talk about the app all the time. Tide 100.9 is the app. A lot of articles, shows, everything. You get everything on the app. You also can message us during the show or anytime, actually, during the day. It'll come directly to us. We can read it out on the air or whatever there. So you get the app on your smartphone. If you want to email us, the email is wimpandbarry@yahoo.com. Before we get started, though, we want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. Always remember, guys, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you certainly don't want it. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer that is closest to you. The Blue Plate Special is locked in. I'm going to check the line. Sometimes, Chase, when he does that, the country starts gambling and the line moves. So I'll see if the line has moved at all this morning. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning?
Okay. Several things. My computer didn't go great today. Florida State and Georgia Tech. A lot of stink about who's going to win that game. That's the reason I stayed away from it. I couldn't decide myself. It's an 11 o'clock game. Not a whole lot of news for a Friday before games. It's mostly old news. The Blue Plate thing that I gave will be at 7 o'clock. One game you might want to watch tonight is a high school game. Thompson plays Grayson.
No, that was last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thompson actually lost in overtime last night to Grayson.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was tonight. I apologize to our listeners. Barry can tell you about that better than I can. It's kind of been in a pretty bad rush. The Birmingham was able to secure the baseball tournament, the Southeastern Conference baseball tournament, for a 5-year period to 28, and also have an opportunity to add a 2-year extension to that, which people really like. I guess it does okay for them money-wise, and I thought surely that they'd do it a little quicker than that. We got people on the committee that don't know much. In golf yesterday, Justin Thomas had a bad day. He's +4, which is way down the line. Nick was really going to be second to the leader and hit one in the water and made 6, which a lot of people do. There are a lot of 6s there, but he's done well. I don't know where he has to finish. He's -3, which is good. -6 is lead. Bradley's leading it with -6, so Nick is right in there. And had it been for that, he would probably been second. But Justin had a bad day. Let's see. Miami of Ohio coach is accusing Alabama of stealing the kicker. The only answer is that coach is given is that in this day and time where the transfer portal being the way it is, you have an opportunity to get people and you have an opportunity to lose people. So that's been something that people have tried to stir up in order to get news now before football starts. So that's taking place. Really, that's about all I had. There's one other thing I can't remember what I had, but anyway, that's where we are this morning, and Barry can give you the insight on the Thompson game. I thought for some reason my computer went out.
Yeah, it was.
Go ahead.
ended up going into overtime. I think Grayson won. I think it was 15-14. It was kind of a defensive struggle. 7-0 most of the game. Grayson leading that game, but two powerhouses. Obviously, the game ended up going to overtime. All right, I got good news for you and bad news. Which would you like first?
Bad.
The bad. Ooh, Chase, this is bad news. The bad news is I sent Doug Bell your pick, and he just texted back and said, I like that pick with 10 exclamation points. So that's
Doug Bell likes it?
Yes. That's good. That's not good. That's the bad news. The good news is, though, Nealon Hibbett got a scholarship. Coach DeBoer gave him a scholarship.
Yeah.
So the Florence native, and I like what Coach DeBoer speaking very highly of him. Seniors get to talk in front of the team, and he said, I guess that's one of his traditions there, and I quote, he knocked it out of the park. You can just see the type of leader that he is, how much the guys trust and believe in him, how much they respect him. He is just really trustworthy, and he is great to have on this team. So,
well, I think one of the biggest things, too, that we don't appreciate, sometimes it's the offensive line, but the long snappers. We don't think anything about it. We consider when we sit in the listening to it. If he snaps it bad, we jump it. But if it's good, we don't give him any credit. And the long snappers, like everybody else, they can make mistakes like field goal kickers, and like some of the snappers that we've had before. So to be able to have that kind of feeling, and I meant to call some of my friends in Florence last night and tell them, and I forgot it. That Nealon had gotten that, and so that's great. Ike, one of the Hibbets is a close friend of mine. Barry was, and all the Hibbets have been close friends of mine for years. I worked for them for years. It first started out as Dixie Supply Company before anybody was born, and now they've got Hibbett Sons. It's very, very big.
Yeah, as Boris said, I wasn't even sure how to handle it. I wanted to surprise him. We did that. He got that. He deserves that. He is a rock solid and just a great person. So it's nice to hear Kalen DeBoer talk about Nealon Hibbett there. Yeah, so that's the good news. Bad news is, though, Doug really likes your pick. But maybe this is Doug's year. This is his year. He just texted me back and said he loved the pick, and I texted him back and said, oh, no. So... this one doesn't count. So a lot of times you don't play your best quarterbacks in exhibition games and all that. October 11th, Alabama's going to reveal the banner. I don't understand exactly why they're doing it on October 11th. It's going to be at 8:30. Martin's saying we'll see he's got to figure out who they're going to play that day. Guys, they hadn't even really started practice. So it's just going to be like a 3-point shooting, dunk contest, and then do the banner. The only thing is at 8:30. October 11th is a Friday night. That's high school football night, so I don't know why you picked a Friday night with high school football going on, but I'm sure they had some rhyme or reason as to why they did that. So that's all we got. At the bottom of the hour, my main man out at Northridge, high school football got started last night, and a lot of other ACA and TA played last night, but Northridge coach Ryan Lally, who is an absolute stud, he'll be on with us at 7:30. We'll have Coach Sonny Smith in the second hour. But take your phone calls here throughout the show, 205-342-9904. 2 Minute Truck, we're at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth move. It's local, out of town, out of state, no problem. Let the professionals handle it. They'll take great care of you and your stuff. 205-247-5050. That is 2 Men in a Truck. Movers who care.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. State Forensics is working to discover the identity of a decomposing body found Wednesday behind the Vestavia Center shops on McFarland Boulevard. Northport Police Department turned the case over to the multi-agency Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit. At this point, investigators have not found anything they believe suspicious about the death. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage all throughout the day. It's absolutely free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF. With this traffic on the move on Friday, you're good to go. We got 2059 moving smooth inside the construction zone, even on the eastbound lane between Western Bypass and Tuscaloosa Coaling. Also, not finding any mishaps on McFarland Boulevard right now. Both east and westbound.
Or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today. Tuscaloosa's high around 90. Tonight, fair and pleasant, the low 65. Tomorrow, sunny with a high at 91. Hot and dry weather Sunday and Monday. The sky's sunny both days. Highs between 92 and 95 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. We want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. Always remember, guys, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, then you don't want it. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline, get Philip in. Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, Barry and Coach. Hope y'all are good today. I was talking to Chase, before I got on with y'all, and he said he heard the weather was going to be cooler over there next week, and I said you need to look again.
Is it bad?
Yeah, it's going to be 97 Wednesday, 95 Thursday. Well, 96 Tuesday, 97 Wednesday, 95 Thursday, 94 Friday, 91 Saturday. So Chase needs to look again.
Yeah, Chase needs to update his weather app. Philip.
Well, the reason I called today is the more I see Coach DeBoer, the more I like him.
Yeah.
I loved it yesterday when he was giving the update about practice, and there were reporters around him, and I think it was the second question somebody asked him about the Miami of Ohio allegations, and he just kind of shrugged it off. He didn't make a big deal about it at all, and then he just looked away and went to the next question. I love that.
Yeah, he said that hey, you get in the portal and you recruit the guys in the portal, and that's what happened. We'll play the Miami of Ohio coach's clip. We got the clip there, what he said. And I'm sure there were, I don't know, probably not direct tampering, but Alabama lost a great kicker, and there's ways to get word around that they might be interested in the kicker. So I'm not saying it was directly done, but I'm sure indirectly there was a nudge coming from somewhere, Philip.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that at all. I like the way DeBoer handled it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was pretty neat as well.
Mm-hmm. So I like him a lot, and I wish him all the success in the world. I hope that there's a little grace if Alabama were to lose a couple of 3 games. I know that there'll be a segment of the fan base and a certain reporter that we all know and love will go ape if Alabama loses 3. And but that could happen. It's a tough schedule. Alabama's back in. That back 6 is as tough as any teams are going to play this year.
Yeah. Something totally different. I want to see if you guys agree with me. I hear a lot of people on these shows, talk about they're tired of hearing Florida State whine. Well, if you flip that, and let's say you took Florida State off there and you put Alabama on there, and Alabama went undefeated, even though their quarterback did get hurt, if Alabama got left out of that Final Four, these fans would have never stop talking about that. So I think we're too hard on Florida State. I thought they got screwed. If you win every game, and they said, well, they got blown out in the bowl. Well, all the guys opted out in the bowl. So if that would have happened to your team, you would have been screaming just like the Florida State fans. And I think people are a little bit too hard about them whining about that, because I thought that was a pretty tough deal. They had pretty tough blow that they got last year. Dad, do you agree to that, or do you think they need to stop whining?
No, I think that's right. I don't think it needs to stop whining. I think they had the right to do so, and they had the record, and it didn't work out. I think the right move was made. I think, but I think you're exactly right. You could go the opposite way, and Alabama people, I know how they are, even against me in basketball at times. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Phil, I just if that would have been, if you flip it and that happened, man, you say, look, you play the whole year, you're undefeated, you deserve to be in. So I think a lot of that will go away with this 12-team playoff. But I thought that was a tough deal. So it depends on
Barry, Barry, just going back and trying to remember that day and that particular time, I'll be honest with you. When Florida State was playing Louisville that night, I thought Alabama was out of it. I thought if FSU could go in,
just win the game,
and win the game in pretty fairly convincing or somewhat convincing manner, and look pretty good with that freshman quarterback playing in place of the guy that was injured. I thought that was a pretty good storyline. But here's the problem: is that Alabama had that miraculous play to beat Auburn, and it was it was all over the place. And then Florida State looked like they were horrible that night. I think they had like 50 yards passing for the game, and Louisville was almost as they were worse. They couldn't convert anything on third down. Louisville had that game. To me, Louisville should have won the game. They had a touchdown called back because they said the tight end bobbled the ball in the end zone, and Louisville was like in the latter stages of the game, the second half of that game, they couldn't convert a third down for anything. I don't think they converted a third down from the second quarter on.
It was a terrible game, but it was just one of those years, where everything fell for Alabama, and then Alabama knocking off Georgia, and that's Georgia's only loss, and they get left out. But it was the right decision because you couldn't put them in over Alabama, who just beat them. But I just think we got to give Florida State some grace on that. People talk about them whining. Well, if that happened, Alabama would still be whining. We would still be talking about that. So I give them a little grace there. So.
Well, that too, and the thing too that I couldn't quite understand was I thought Florida State's argument, they were all ticked off over Alabama, and Alabama was on the tip of their tongue and their fan base's tongue, and they were aiming all their venom at Alabama. I thought their venom was misplaced. I thought it should have been more towards Texas.
Yeah. I don't know, man. If you just play the whole season, whether you get hurt or not, and if you're undefeated, then I think you should have a chance to do it, regardless of how you look there. But I don't know.
I missed the blue plate. Pick.
SMU minus 25 at Nevada. I think it's 7 p.m. kick on Fox Sports 1 tomorrow night. So SMU minus the 25.
All right.
It makes you feel any better. Doug Bell loves it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to think. Nevada can be good sometimes. They can be mediocre a lot of times, and they can be god-awful a lot of times. So I just don't know what kind of Nevada you're going to get. But Georgia Tech, FSU fascinates me. I think Tech is, golly, man. I picked FSU, but I wish I'd redone it.
Yeah. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chase, let's play that Chuck Martin clip. Dad, I want you to hear the clip and then think, would this be something, does the compliance office at Alabama, are they obligated to look into it? Play the clip here. Chuck Martin is the head coach at the Miami of Ohio. Graham Nicholson was their kicker. He's obviously kicking at Alabama now. And here's what Chuck Martin had to say.
All right, special teams, lost your kicker. Carter McLaughlin.
We didn't lose him. He's at Alabama. We know exactly.
I understand.
We know exactly where he's at.
Like,
you media people, it's all pretend. Like, no, Alabama stole our kicker.
Yes,
they illegally recruited our kicker and stole him from us. And like that's a fact. But that's but we act like it's not. We live in this la world. Like, hey, let's not talk. I don't know why everybody knows what's going on. So, yeah, Alabama stole our kicker. A couple other schools try to steal it, but then what's the question?
You think he was just being funny, or you think he was being serious there, Dad?
Oh, I think he's being serious, and I don't blame him. I think if he feels that way, that the media goes another direction, they need to say it. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think he probably realized he was going to lose him. Let's go ahead and play what Kalen DeBoer was very quick, accused of tampering. I think they asked him that right off the bat because that came out. So they asked him as he was getting off the practice field yesterday. So play that. Here's what Kalen DeBoer had to say.
Before we get started, the Miami of Ohio coach accused you guys of tampering with the recruitment of Graham Nicholson. Do you have a response to that?
I don't know anything about that, I guess, that comment. He entered the portal and we reached out to him. So that's how it goes, right? So we did everything the way you're supposed to.
All right.
See no reason for him not to say it like that, too. I mean, I think it was fine. I think he didn't get into it. We just got given a guy a big raise yesterday to handle all of that.
Yeah.
He's the guy that needs to handle that.
Yeah. And, I'm sure he probably went to his SID and said, hey, next time something like that breaks during practice, let me know. I don't want to be getting blindsided by a question that I didn't know.
That's where the general manager comes in to get that off of him.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, that I guess the SID or whoever should have warned him, hey, this came out. They might ask you about it. This is what was said. It looked like to me he was caught completely in the dark, and he handled it well. All right, get back to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Digger in. Good morning, Digger.
Hey, Digger. Really? Misplaced? Putting the blame on, what is he talking about? This is where your idiot callers lose their mind. They seem to forget about head-to-head every single time. I don't get it.
What are you talking about?
When you lose by 10 to Texas, and you're thinking that we don't believe that we are supposed to be in the Final Four? Come on.
No,
we won our conference.
Digger, for once, I agree with you. When Philip said that, I didn't think about it in those terms. But they beat Alabama, so they had to go before Alabama. I agree.
Lordy, I think he did that on purpose. He saw me bring in my briefcase, set it on the desk, ready to pull out my homework and get ready for work. It's on a Friday. He said, let me mess with him today.
Yeah, but Barry Switzer, Dad, yesterday, he talked about how much he just slapped Texas around, and Oklahoma's been slapping them around. Were his facts right on that, Digger? I know you called
9-5-2. Listen, you got to understand the history of Barry, Jerry Jones, and Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
They all played on that 64 Natty championship, and they all hate Texas. Okay, when you play for Arkansas, especially back in the 60s, they could not stand Texas. They couldn't stand them. Okay? So, yeah, it runs deep in Arkansas. Trust me.
Barry
we can't even get our gas there.
He acts like Oklahoma can't go in there anymore and get the players. We'll see.
I don't know. They're doing. Look, listen. I don't know what they're doing now, but they're getting the players.
Oh, they are?
Me.
They are?
One by one, they're getting the players. Okay? One by one. They don't have everybody yet, but, yeah, they're getting players, believe me.
Yeah.
They just picked up a 5-star offensive lineman, and for the life of me, I don't understand why he's going to Oklahoma. So, yeah, I'll let you go.
Thank you, Digger. All right. I knew Digger would be upset about Philip saying that Texas should have been the ones left out. But if Texas came to Bryant-Denny and won, it would be hard to put Alabama in over Texas. So I think they got it right, but I'm just saying Florida State, just let them whine about it because they have every right to whine.
Who you root for.
Yeah, if that was Alabama, we'd be screaming still. And maybe Nick Saban would have stayed in coaching because he wouldn't have been in the Final Four and it wouldn't have went out that way. I don't know. Who knows? We'll never know. All right, we'll get to break. Ryan Lally is going to join us, talk a little high school football, Northridge football with Coach Lally. Let's the Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. The Martin Houston Show.
Join the Martin Houston Show for a Monday edition of the program. We'll add Kennington Smith III to the conversation. Hey, it's game week, everybody. We'll break down the Alabama football team. We'll do SWOT analysis. We'll get your predictions. We'll start all of those conversations and more. Join us at 205-342-9904 or on Facebook at The Martin Houston Show on Facebook. And remember, it's the Martin Houston Show powered by Box Eye Care. We'll catch you on Monday.
Catch the Martin Houston Show from 6 to 7 weekday mornings on Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF. With this traffic on the move on Friday, you're good to go. We got 2059 moving smooth inside the construction zone, even on the eastbound lane between Western Bypass and Tuscaloosa Coaling. Also, not finding any mishaps on McFarland Boulevard right now.
Visit us at 3537 Skyland Boulevard East or check us out online, bmwoftuscaloosa.com. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. Want to build the 5-star backyard, the fence, the deck, the pergola. There's only one choice, and that would be Yellowwood. All right, it's high school football got started. They had a jamboree, I think, the week before, but it really got started last night. And for the Northridge Jaguars and Coach Ryan Lally, they will travel to Calera tonight. It'll get started, and we appreciate Coach Lally joining us. Good morning, Coach. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Coach. Good morning.
Good morning to both of you guys. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Dad, let me tell you about Ryan Lally. Ryan Lally is a guy that's a team player. A lot of times you get these places, football guys are kind of the king, and Ryan is, Coach Lally is always very accommodating to me, our program, which I appreciate him being a team player. And he, like you, Dad, he is tough. He's tough on his players, very tough. But every kid to him, man, I got to figure out how he does this. I was talking to Jack Verzino the other day, and he said, man, I love Coach Lally. So his players respect him. He's tough on them, but they still love him. How do you do that, Coach? These guys love playing for you, but I know you coach hard, which is fun to see. How do you have that balance there where these guys still love and respect you?
Well, I don't know if they all love me, but Jack's a good one. You know, he's one of those guys that's easy to coach. I think it always comes back down to your players, man. If you can get your best players to be your best people, that kind of takes care of itself. That's what I've always tried to do, and our staff have always tried to do. And you know, I think it's something you just got to be real with them each and every day, and love them when they need loved on, be tough on when they need to be tough on. So, you know, I ain't got it all figured out, but that's just kind of the way I balance it out. And I love being around them. I love those guys as much as you know. He's saying that, Jack, and or anybody in general. It's just when you get to coach a kid, man, it's a special thing, and just, you know, getting to be a part of a journey, going through the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, putting in the work, and we've certainly put it in this year. We're excited. We had an awesome off season. It's been tough, and it's been a grind. And always, you know, I stole this. I didn't make it up, but you know, the fall's always going to ask what you did all off season, what you did all summer. And right now, we know we planted some real good seeds, and we're ready to reap some of those right here coming up this week, starting with Calera.
Yeah. So you got
sometimes. Coaching their parents is more difficult than coaching them.
That's why I don't try to coach their parents. Yeah. I tell them I try to coach those kids, and that's who I communicate with. I'm pretty open book as far as approachable by the parents, but
I said I do a lot better with kids than I do with grown folks usually.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to come in there as a parent and meet with you, Coach. Now, Dad, you're going to have to help Coach Lally on his schedule. Scheduling, his first 4 games are on the road. He's got Calera, ACA at McAdory and at Brookwood, but forget about all that. We're coaches. We go 1 game at a time. Not clear right now. Talk a little bit about your team. You got Rowdy Christensen back, I know, at quarterback. Really, really good player. Got injured last year, but he can throw the ball. He's got a lot of confidence. Just talk a little bit about your team this year, Coach.
Oh, yeah, man. We're anytime you got your quarterback back, it's always big, and him being back for his 3rd year, I mean, he's more understanding of, what's going on as a leader more than anything. We know he's talented. He's got a talented arm. He can run. He's got great awareness. But the best thing about him is he leads each and every day. He don't miss, and he probably missed out on a lot of vacation time just to kind of help set that standard of being here each and every day when we have workouts and things like that. But, we're excited about him. He's strong arm, of course, understands the offense very well. Then up front, I think is our strong part. We have, 4 returning starters up front, and with Will Allen, Devin White, Hayes Formby, and Scotty Hollins. 3 of those guys hold offers. Devin holds multiple offers, and Hayes has an offer as well, and Will Allen has one to UWA. And then Scotty does a great job. He's back for a 2nd-year starter, and so Jack Parker's going to be our center. So we feel, he's just 4 seniors up front, 4 out of 5, and 3 of them have all. We feel like that's our strong suit. So, pounding the ball, being able to run the ball and take it up, take shots when we need to, and use our play action game, RPO game is going to be huge for us. I feel like, no doubt, though, our strength is in the offensive line.
Yeah. Talk about I always do. When Alabama hires new basketball coaches, football coaches, I want to know, do they have a son? Do they have a son that plays? And and so I think you got a son of one of the Alabama football coaches over there now with you. Talk about him a little bit, who it is.
I know we've got a couple of them. I said, we were out there. We got a couple of kids. Their dad's coach at Bama, and Colin Cap. Man, he's been a phenomenal for us at tight end, and he it's Kapovic, but it's easier to say Cap. But his dad's O-line coach at Bama, and he did a great job for us at tight end. But he's also he's a 4-star long snapper, and that's an important deal in special teams. You kind of hold your breath sometimes on punt and things like that. But man, he's a winner. He's a true coach's kid. He comes in, he's yes sir, no sir, no nonsense, and he works his tail off. So being an addition to him has been huge. Just like we were down there, I guess in the Jamboree, he caught a touchdown pass, and I was like, probably the only person might be glad Coach Saban retired, because if he hadn't, we wouldn't have got this tight end. All jokes aside, but anyway, it's been good with he's been a great addition for us.
Yeah, that's funny, Nat.
What do you do with kids who come in and are disappointed about their playing time?
Well, anytime somebody, I think it's a lot about how their approach is with that. Yeah. So I think if you come in and you ask me what you can do, I'm good. I can sit down and talk with a kid all day long about that. If it's if you come in with some self-pity, I'm gonna probably go ahead and give you a quick life lesson and say, hey, it's gonna be life all the time. And everybody wants to talk about being fair. Well, I got 45 years in living. I hadn't seen anything that was fair yet. You gotta, there's no guarantees, but if you don't work, you're not gonna get anything. So, I think I try to be real with them. But at the same time, if they got a good attitude, I want to encourage them. Everybody having hope is one of the most important things. If they don't, I think if you just belittle them and things like that, you're going to lose them, and it'll affect their life. I mean, I think I can remember every negative thing that's ever been said to me by a coach, and I think we usually tend to remember more of the negatives than the positives. So I kind of take it as like put myself in that position or that. As a kid or as a player, and I think you want to encourage them to get better. You want to also be able to show them, and then but be real with them. I think making them, giving them false hope is not a good thing either. I think it all comes down to work. We got some players on our football team that have, I think about Miller Arendelle. He's a great athlete and all, but I just think about him each and every day, that the work that he put in and the grind when nobody's looking, nobody's paying attention, getting in extra work, and then all of a sudden you see somebody just have a breakout, and it's because they've been showing up and doing the work. So I think, any time you're wanting something, you got to make some sacrifices, and want to encourage them, but that's kind of how I handle it. It really depends on how they come in, what kind of attitude they come in with. So it could go one or two ways for them there.
Yeah, Coach, I look at all the work that y'all do. You're out there in the summer. I see those guys in the weight room. Basketball, we play 30 games, so that's a lot of opportunities to play. Then if you're lucky enough to get to postseason, you play more. You guys only get 10 games. You're guaranteed 10. And so it starts tonight against Calera. So they do put in a lot of work. And, man, 10 games, man, you got to take advantage of each and every one because there's just not that many of them. Just talk about your game preparation and then how excited you guys are. All the work and all now you finally get to go out and play a game. You got to have butterflies in your stomach. I'm sure they do as well. Even though as long as you and I have coached, it's still the first game of the season's always fun.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, that's what I tell them all the time. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. You only get guaranteed 5 home games. You only get a 10 total guaranteed. And, just all the work that you put in for that, for that amount of time, man, it's exciting. I love the feeling. I love the feeling of a first game. I love the feeling of a playoff game. I love the feeling of every game, really. And I guess the day I don't have butterflies or don't sleep the night before, I probably need to go do something else. But it's an exciting time. And again, we've talked about the 3 things we probably talked about the most this off season is being disciplined and being mentally tough and being physically tough. And we feel like we've done that. We've had to do a lot of hard stuff, a lot of getting up and coming in before school, basically from January to May, and then the 7 a.m.s in June and July, and then the heat now, and it everybody has to put in work. You got everybody's on a different level. There's some guys, if they don't show up here, you think that you're scared to death something's happened to them. And then there's some boys that you got to help bring along a little bit. You may have to call them, have to go knock on their door, and kind of help give them a little boost to get them going. But we feel like we've put in a lot of work, and I tell our guys it'd be a shame for us not to be focused and ready for a Friday night football game after all that work. And then, you just put it all to the side because you weren't ready to play after you worked for 6 months or whatever. So I think that's what I'm trying to encourage them, to be focused and be able to take the opportunity to get to play. And then for whatever reason, whatever your why is, it motivates you. Right now we got a chip on our shoulder. We had some struggles last year. We went through some tough times. I think we overcome some things. I was proud of how we overcame some things, but I think it's our time, and it's our time to prove something to everybody. It's our time to prove something to ourselves, and we're looking forward to proving it at 7 o'clock this Friday night. Because I tell you, Calera's they got a lot of athletes, and they're one of those teams. You let them get happy, they'll be a handful. And so we want to keep them sad as much as we can. That's what we want to do. It's about doing our job and going out and doing what we've been coached to do.
Dad, you got any motivational speech you can give before they run out?
I better pass on my motivational speech to high school kids. They're a little different.
My dad never looked happy on game day. He was always miserable on getting out. He loved the winning, but the game day part, he never looked that happy, to be honest with you. Were you happy?
No, I wasn't happy at all.
I tell you what, didn't nobody want to make him mad. I guarantee you that. He's a legend. I enjoyed watching him as a kid. I remember my parents taking us down all the time watching the games in the plaid jacket. So that was some fun days, Coach. No doubt, man. You're respected by everybody.
Yeah, yes, lastly, you got a new region. Talk about y'all's region. I know you're not worried about the region. You're worried about Calera, but just talk about the region that you guys are in.
Oh, yeah, sure. We open up a region play with McAdory, and then we also have, which they're, McAdory speaks for itself and who they are. We have Brookwood, Central, and then we have Hueytown, Bryant, and Bessemer City. And so that's our region. And, we went from an 8-team region to a 7-team, which is, it's not a bad thing, really. So I was excited about that. 4 guys get in. And one of our goals is to be the region champions. And, so you just got to start out with that first one. So that's our region. I think it's a strong region. Obviously Hueytown and what they've been able to do in recent years speaks for itself. And then, McAdory is McAdory. It's kind of like you say that name and you think about football.
Yeah, I'm mad at McAdory right now. They just dropped 2 basketball games for me. Lastly, I see all the stuff that your booster club does for you. You guys got a great booster club over there. They help promote your program. I know they kind of give you whatever you need. You see stuff on social media. Maybe give you a chance maybe to give those guys a shout out just to how much they mean and do for your program.
Man, Todd Arundel and Lee Allen, man, I don't know what we'd do with it. And the whole booster club and, Miss Welton as well. They're all here every day. Laura Welton's up here. She's got our pregame meals set, ready to go, and makes it easy. Sometimes when you get people in certain leadership situations, they want to come in and make it harder on the coach. That's not the case. They got it set up for you, ready to go. They got the buses ready to go for us today. Got the food ready for us today, and they're a booster club. They're meant to boost, and they do a great job of doing that. And we couldn't do it without them. And they're always thinking ahead of what's best for our players. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about: making sure the players have everything they need and have a great experience and have the best opportunity to go be successful.
Well, before I let you go, Dad, this is what kind of guy Ryan Lally is. He's out there. He's lining the field. Like, Coach, stop doing that. He's took 29,000 steps the other day. He's lining the field. He's cutting the grass. He would just rather do it himself. But what I like, I love that part. But he supports our program as well. He was at most of our games when our guys were walking off the court. He was there to congratulate those guys or pick them up or whatever. And so our players really appreciated him being around, our program. So, Coach, I wanted to publicly thank you just for being a team player there at Northridge. You do a little bit of everything, but I appreciate your support for basketball as well.
Man, I appreciate all you support us, Coach, and I enjoy watching you guys. Man, y'all play great defense, and so I said last year, if y'all ever don't shoot it well, y'all still going to be fine because the defense that y'all play and the brand of basketball you play is special. So it's all I love watching basketball, so it's fun to watch, especially when you're watching, our student athletes do it, and they do a great job, and they're competitors. They're a great reflection of you.
Coach, I
always enjoy it when your mom and dad got to come to the games and get to see them, go stand by them, make me look important.
Yeah, he doesn't ever yell at the referees over there, does he, Coach?
He has a special love for the referees, I can tell. So.
All right, I know you got to get back to work. I'll stop by there and see you today, and good luck with your first game tonight to start 1-0.
1-0. I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. There's Coach Ryan Lally. Wow. Every time you see somebody in the community and you ask about Coach Lally, they always have positive things to say about Coach, and I appreciate him taking time to be on with us. I will take the break. Up at the phone lines, 205-342-9904. You're listening to 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris coming up Friday morning at 9 a.m. It's the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show, and are we going to be cranking it out for you? The voice of the Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, will join us for an Alabama football preview, plus Larry the Music Man and Brett Pritchard with the Auburn Report, and your phone calls as well. That's Friday morning at 9 a.m. on the Gary Harris Show.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, hello and TGIF to you. We're starting to get a little more volume on these roadways right now for your Friday morning rush. So we've got McFarland Boulevard at Lurleen Wallace, of course. That's always a pretty busy intersection. So right now you can count on some delays. And we're
starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today. Tuscaloosa's high around 90. Tonight, fair and pleasant, the low 65. Tomorrow, sunny with a high at 91. Hot and dry weather Sunday and Monday. The sky's sunny both days. Highs between 92 and 95 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide football.
Alabama touchdown.
Only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside Locker. We want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Grade. So now, a few minutes ago, I was the one that brought up the Florida State stuff and asked Philip about it. So it probably caught him off guard. I know Digger didn't. He obviously thought Texas should have been in, and I probably would agree. So, but Philip back. Hey, Philip, you want to address what was said there about the Texas situation?
Yeah, with all due respect to Digger, I don't think I'm an idiot caller. I don't think I am.
You're certainly not an idiot caller. Did he say idiot caller?
Yeah, well, hell yeah, he did.
No, I didn't.
He said, quote unquote, you're idiot callers.
Callers? When he said that, I was not thinking he was calling you an idiot because you certainly.
No, I don't think he was calling me an idiot, really. But I don't do that to other callers. You know. But anyway, I think he missed my point that I was trying to make. This was the only point I was trying to make. Alabama had just beaten Georgia in the SEC championship game a couple hours before the FSU Louisville game. And everybody knew how important, in the Alabama nation that FSU's performance was going to be in that game. The only reason I brought up Texas was at that time, Texas was ranked above FSU and Alabama on that particular night. They were entrenched at number 3 in the nation. They were entrenched. And I understand Texas beat Alabama at home. I get that. But the only point I was trying to make, and I'm not trying to take away Texas's manhood or make Digger feel bad that I'm crying that Texas beat Alabama at home. I'm not. All I'm trying to say is that at that time Texas was entrenched at number 3, and that Alabama, they got in over FSU because they had just beaten Georgia in the SEC title game. I'm not taking away anything from Texas, but Texas was entrenched at number 3, and they didn't even play in the SEC championship game.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I brought it up, so I created this problem. So I'm sorry, but I just don't like people criticizing Florida State for being frustrated. And I understand. I think the committee got it right, but I do think Florida State had a right to be frustrated. And I don't think you really.
Hey, and I understand that. I get that too. Yeah. I get it. I get it. I'm just going back to the historical truth of what happened at that time. Is that Texas was entrenched over both of those teams, and Texas didn't even play in a championship game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Digger's just upset that Texas can't beat Kalen DeBoer, so he's going to take shots on us all the time. So anyway, Philip, keep calling, my man. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll take this top of the hour break. We want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from.
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In baseball games of note, the Yankees shut out the Guardians 6-0. Aaron Judge blasted his major league leading 48th home run of the year. That was enough offense for Garrett Cole, who tossed 6 shutout innings and 3 relievers as they combined on the 1-hit shutout. New York now has a game-and-a-half lead on Baltimore first in the AL East. Cleveland's leading the AL Central is down to just 2 games on both Minnesota and Kansas City, who were both off on Thursday. Speaking of the Orioles, they were shut out by the Astros 6-0. Houston Spencer Arrighetti went 6 shutout innings. He and 2 relievers combined on a 3-hit shutout. Houston now has a 5.5 game lead on idle Seattle for the top spot in the AL West. Mets beat the Padres 8-3, but New York remains a game and a half back of Atlanta for the final wildcard spot in the National League because the Braves knocked off the NL East leading Phillies 3-2. Brewers on top in the NL Central were shut out by the Cardinals 3-0. And in baseball news, the Seattle Mariners fired manager Scott Service and replaced him with former Mariners catcher Dan Wilson.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Andrew Kniffer helps us kick off this 8 o'clock hour. Andrew is my insurance agent with Allstate. Let him become yours. Out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. You need to have that home car. You need to protect your families. You need life insurance there. He can handle all of that for you. One-stop shop there for insurance. Does a great job for me. 205-722-9201. Andrew Kniffer, Allstate Insurance. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline. We'll go to Dothan and get Joe in. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Wimp. Coach Sanderson. I hope y'all are doing well. Barry, I'm sorry. I got to disagree with you on this Florida State thing.
All right, go ahead.
Now, hear me out.
All right.
Now, I get what you're saying. Yes, you go undefeated.
Well, before you go, I'm not saying they should have been in. I'm just saying their fans have a right to be upset. I know if I was coaching a team and I won every single game and I didn't get a chance to be into the playoffs, I would be furious. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I hear you, and I get what you're saying. But my thing is this: you left out a couple key details here that are very important. Number one, yes, Alabama fans would be angry if we went 12-0. Also having played an SEC schedule, let's throw that in there as opposed to an ACC schedule. I know they beat LSU. So did we by a wide margin. Now, as far as their fans, yes, they have a right to be upset, Barry. What bothers me is they're still crying about it now. And the personal attacks against Kirk Herbstreit, which I guess you haven't noticed, they're still doing that. They're saying he's going to have a hard time in Ireland and all this stuff and on social media. And I know it's people on social media, but they have been just downright ruthless. The man is paid to give his opinion about college football, and they have openly, ever since last December, accused him of lobbying for to keep Florida State out, which is absolutely laughable. And it's just dumb. No, and furthermore, the team that has the right to be upset, Barry, is Georgia. As an Alabama fan, I hate to admit that. When you win like 28 out of 29 games and you lose by 3 stinking points, you're the 2-time defending champs. Shouldn't they be the ones crying to the hilltops? I'm sorry, but, I lost so much respect for Florida State fans. I never disliked them like Miami, but I got to tell you, I'm pulling tomorrow. It's Georgia Tech Ramblin' Wreck, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I haven't followed what they've said as much. Kurt Herbstreit has a job, and I think Kurt Herbstreit just gave his honest opinion of who he thought, and I think he was probably right. But you got to put yourself, Dad, right in Florida State fans' shoes. If I go undefeated and I don't have an opportunity, even if my quarterback got hurt, I feel slighted. Dad, do you agree, or you agree with Joe that?
I think you're right. I think the funny part about me is I'm still crying about the North Carolina-Alabama game. When I played, they won the national championship. I can promise you, I can promise you that the guy from the Midwest who thought he was a great official screwed us because he thought we were a football school.
Jim Bain. Jim Bain was his name.
Jim Bain screwed us. We held Michael Jordan to 13 points. We never saw the foul line, and I promise you he cheated in the game. And I'm still pissed off about that.
Yeah, I'm still whining, Joe, about Lane Kiffin throwing all those times against Ohio State in the playoffs. When they could, if they would just run the ball, they would have won the game. So there's certain things that happen with teams that you follow that you still to this day eat at you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you 100% on that. I still can't forget that out of my mind. That 2014 Sugar Bowl. And just blowing that lead, it still bothers me. I fully understand. I hear what you're saying, but Florida State fans have been so obnoxious. It's I'm sorry. I'm rooting against them every week this year, regardless of who they're playing.
And even Clemson, when they beat Alabama for the national championship, that was a pick play in the end zone that they ran that the official didn't call. So that's I bet you that still eats at Coach Saban anyway. But hey, Joe, I appreciate it. I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I don't think they should be personal attacks, but I think sometimes we, if it had happened to Alabama, I think the Alabama fan would be pretty hot. I
think it should be personal attacks when a guy screwed me like he did.
Yeah. So, thank you, Joe.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
You too. All right, we've stirred up all the callers now. All right, let's get to the Yellowwood Hotline and get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Very good morning. Good morning, Coach. How y'all this morning?
We're good.
Oh, hanging in there.
Cool. Well, I tell you what, you got such a good show coming on. I had a question to ask you about something I had read, and I hate to be Debbie Downer today because the show's flowing with a lot of controversy, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. You want to call back?
Yeah, I think I'll wait till Monday and call.
You can call back or call back after Sunny there. Thanks, Tom. All right, back to the Yellowwood Hotline and get Mike in. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
I was a Florida State fan here, just hearing all the fun stuff.
This is my man, Mike. My man, Mike.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
Alabama won. Yeah.
I got my Florida State shirt on walking into work right now.
So are you still angry, Mike? Or were you ever angry? Well, you're not a guy that gets angry, though. You're such a nice guy.
You can be nice, man, it's like still get angry.
To your guys' point, is there disappointment? Is there frustration? Absolutely. Does it present some flaws in the system that eventually changed anyway, so there's nothing that you could do about it? Absolutely. But just calling in on that perspective, I don't think all of us Florida State guys are that bad.
No,
at least like what I'm hearing. It's not a polarizing one or the other.
Well, I just think there were people there was actually Wyatt who he did a little rant the other day about he's tired of hearing Florida State fans whine and this, that, and the other. And I'm like sitting there thinking, man, if Alabama would have been left out of the playoff after going undefeated, you don't think that we would be whining over here? So I was trying to give you guys a little grace there, Mike.
No, I was calling in to say thanks for that. And I would say, yes, absolutely, still a little chapped and frustrated, but I understand how things played out. And I think there's a ton of arguments, and we're looking forward to this season. So let's put that one in the past. Let's look for what tomorrow is to kick off college football, to unify us, but bring the healthy banter for all of us back into the life. I'm excited for that part. And I hope to get a couple of Go Noles out of you guys as we get ready to kick off the season.
Mike, man, I miss our phone calls every week. That was always a great segment.
I agree. I appreciate it, guys. But yeah, a big healthy Go Noles. Hopefully, we get you guys around the TV tomorrow morning watching Florida State. We kick off a good season and give us an argument to come out to the playoff season as it changes for this year.
Just for you, Mike, I'm gonna pull for the Seminoles. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, back up to the Yellowwood Hotline. Get Pat in. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, part of they don't understand that we had just beaten a Georgia team that had won 20-something straight games, and we won the SEC championship.
Yeah, nobody's saying Alabama should have been left out. It was just a tough. Last year you needed more than 4 teams. It was a tough deal for the committee.
Hey, talking about Texas down there, you know who Justin Wilson was? I know your daddy does.
Yeah, I do.
Justin Wilson talked about, Texas was somehow everything's so great in Texas. We got this, we got that. Everything's bigger in Texas. And the Cajun said, one thing we got, y'all ain't got the Mississippi River. Oh, man, I wish we had the Mississippi River in Texas. Hey, and Justin Wilson said, if y'all can suck in as much as y'all can blow out, y'all have it there in 30 minutes.
Pat, you got Alabama going undefeated, don't you?
Yes, sir.
National champions.
Faith of look, talking about faith of a mustard seed, I got the faith of a peach seed. Come on.
There you go. All right, Pat.
All right. Hey, you guys have a blessed day, Coach, and enjoy it.
Thank you, buddy. Dad, I'm going to win the national championship this year.
Who?
Alabama.
I would doubt it. I would say they've got a chance to win it.
Sure.
I wouldn't put odds on it that they do. I wouldn't put odds on anybody winning it, really, Ohio State or anybody else. I say I doubt it. They have a shot to do it. It would be great if they did, but I think it'll be a little bit difficult for them to do.
Do you think, obviously, getting in the Final Four is difficult? They were able to do that. Do you think it makes it harder to win it or easier to win it when it goes to 12? Obviously, you'll probably get in there. It's easier to get in there to have the opportunity, but now you got to win 3 or 4 games to do it.
Well, I think it's where your games are played.
Yeah.
I think it's the kind of draw that you get. Sometimes you get a better draw in basketball than you do at other times, and football's the same way. It's the kind of draw that you ended up. If the prognostication were to be like it is today, which I'm not thinking it will, if Alabama and Miami were to play in Bryant-Denny, then Alabama would be the favorite, and then they'd have to go on and play Ohio State. Ohio State's got their backs against the wall because of what Michigan did last year. And Ohio State, Alabama game, I don't know where that would be. And I don't know if Ohio State would be big in name. How good they would be in team, we don't know. In name, they're big. In team, we'd have to see. So if that were to come down, it would throw them against, 1 or 2 teams. So, I don't know that they can't win it. I think defensively they probably are playing better than I thought, according to listening to the defense coordinator. I think I just was concerned about them giving up big plays. I'm sure I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be interesting to see exactly where you fall and where you go after you win your first. That really makes a huge difference. And nobody, no callers, nobody, myself, you, anybody else knows the answer to that.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're going to find this year when we get into November, there's so many teams will have a chance. There'll be so many more games that mean something. Just for the SEC championship, the 2 teams that are going to get there with all the tiebreaker system there, and then obviously getting into the final 12. There'll be so many more games that will be big games, and you'll need this domino to happen to help this team. And so when it's only 4, there were only so many games at the end of the year that really meant anything. There's going to be a lot of them that will now. It may affect your seeding. You may be a lock to be in, but you may lose and fall from a 4 to a 9, which would end up putting you on the road in the first round. So that I think those
10, 11, 12 will be a big stink. 10, 11, 12 just will be. There'll be some tightness there that that you've got to try to work through, and you're not going to work through it on the committee. You do whatever you think is right, and politically, I don't know how much goes on there at all with this new group, but 10, 11, and 12 will be.
Yeah, but I think if you're not in the top 4, you want to make 5 through 8 because you get a home game.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think that's. I'd much rather be 5 through 8 playing at home than I would be having to go on the road and play one. So I think that will be. Oh yeah, you're in it, but man, we got to win. We got to get one of those top 8 seeds at least to either get a bye or to get a home game here.
You don't have home field advantage at all if you're playing at Miami. So there are a lot of places that you play that the home field advantage is not as great as we think it is at Paul Bryant. So Bryant Denny. So
Saban Field at Brighton.
Yeah, that's right. So it's they don't follow their team as much. Either they don't go with their team like the other teams do. So we'll see.
So we got a lot of Chase. We got a lot of cat fighting going on today. That's why we need to get to the games because now we're talking about a bunch of nothing that doesn't matter. Last year doesn't matter anymore. We got to get to this year and see these teams play, and then start to form our opinions and start helping these coaches. We try to coach Chase and help them what they should have run, tell them after the fact and all those kind of things. So that's when it gets fun. All right, we'll take the break here and we'll try to track down old Coach Sonny Smith, see how he's doing down there on the plains. You listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, it's been a very pleasant morning on this TGIF. We've had very minimal delays in the area. The construction zones are pretty much all you have to worry about, and it's basic slows. So you have that, of course, on Lurleen Wallace in both the north and southbound lanes between University.
Works for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code WORKS to save 15% today.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today. Tuscaloosa's high around 90. Tonight, fair and pleasant, the low 65. Tomorrow, sunny with a high at 91. Hot and dry weather Sunday and Monday. The sky's sunny both days. Highs between 92 and 95 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I think Tuscaloosa Toyota, they got a great website, TuscaloosaToyota.com. I'm looking at the Toyota Tundra. The 2024, they're 1.99% APR there for 36 months, $2,000 loyal cash. They got the Camrys, great deals on the Camrys, the RAV4s, the Toyota Highlander, which is one that my mother-in-law just got. Man, that car is beautiful. Leather inside. It's a great vehicle. So swing by Skyland Boulevard, find Justin. He joins us every Wednesday, he or David, and they will set you right up with the best vehicles in town over at Tuscaloosa Toyota. They also have a great inventory of pre-owned vehicles right there on the lot. All right, we get right to the Tuscaloosa Toyota hotline. Now, last week I bragged about all his accomplishments, and Dad got mad, so I'll do that every other week. But he's the great Coach Sonny Smith. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Sonny. What's he mad about today?
Oh, because you won all these awards, and he gets mad when I talk about it.
I'm glad Sonny won. Well, he helped me win them. He helped me win them by saying good things about me, like he always has.
Yeah,
Sonny,
I had one of our great listeners, and I was looking for what he wanted. Said that you named off the cowboy movies that you have been watching, and that he had started watching them since you said that. And could I ask you? This is true. This is a true deal. Could I?
True story now.
Yeah. This is what cowboy? Tim McCoy was one of them, I think.
Tim McCoy was good.
Okay. Name
Charles Sterrett was another.
Who?
Tim Holt, Charles Sterrett, Tex Ritter. I had a number of them. I can name for about 5 minutes, but anybody had them, I watch them.
All right, Tex Ritter. Remember again.
Tex Ritter was one of them. Okay, Tim Holt was the other.
Tim Holt.
Yeah. Charles Sterrett was the other.
Charles Sterrett.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Now you hit me. I've hit a snag right here. I'll think of maybe go, but there's about 4 or 5. But my favorite was Tim Holt.
Okay. Well, when you get through with this interview, or while you're doing it, if one of them comes to you, just interrupt us.
In the middle of it, just say the name.
Yeah, it comes to. I'll call it out.
He's a great listener, and he appreciates you.
Yeah, I love Tim Holt was my guy. Tim Holt was my man.
Okay.
What does that say, Coach, when Dad says, "Now this is true"? Does that mean if he doesn't say that before he says?
Well, we had a radio show that you had to try to figure out whether we was telling the truth or not. I guess.
Yeah.
We had a radio show.
I never told it.
No, we never had
maybe
any
Wimp
guests.
did.
Yeah, Son and I never had any guests.
No.
And when we walked in, we looked at each other and said, "What are we going to talk about today?" And Sonny would say something about happened at Auburn, Alabama, and I'd say something controversial if I could to get it going. But it turned out good every cotton picking day. We did it for 6 years.
Well, this is true. Don't you wish the politicians would say that, where they'd say, "Hey, now this is actually true," and then say something that's just lying all the time on both sides. All right.
We had great guests. We just can't remember who they were.
Yeah.
Hey, Sonny, they had a really bad, controversial wreck in NASCAR. I don't know if you can tell our listeners about what happened, but it was. I don't remember when it was, but do you recall the wreck that they've had since we talked to you?
No, the recent one was a wreck caused by took out the Larson was taken out in a wreck, and I'll think of all the other guys, but the guy that did it was the son-in-law of Richard Childers, and he races in the series for a number of years, and he had his first win. And he's received a lot of criticism, but actually it could have been anybody's wreck. The guy from Virginia was in it. I'm having trouble with names. Come on, I'll bring him on here. But he had his first big win, and it created controversy because he wrecked 3 people. Kyle Larson was one of them, and 2 or 3 other guys that I'll think of as we go along.
Well, let me ask you this: the guy that did the wrecking, is he now a fan favorite?
Anytime you wreck somebody in NASCAR, you become either hated or loved. It doesn't matter who it is. If you wreck somebody, and he was trying to move. What happens late in a race? If you get down to the last 2 or 3 laps and somebody's ahead of you, what you do is you hit them in the back fender, move them up the track or down the track, and slide by them. Well, as he was bumping these guys, they went into a slide and actually wrecked them. He wrecked 2 people, and you really get criticized because bump and run is a big part of NASCAR. And when you get up to somebody, you're not going to be able to just drive right around them because the horsepower in these cars is the same, and a lot of the speed is determined by how good the tires are left on your car and how good a driver you are and how well you take care of your car. Well, if they can't get by you, they try to move you, and they'll move you. Now, sometimes when it happens, a wreck will occur, but never is. I don't think it's an intentional wreck. It's an intentional move to get by a guy, and they get really, really criticized badly by everybody if they wreck the guy. But if they move them and go by, they're just great drivers. So there's a little bit of a situation there where you can be a GOAT or you can be great, and that's what happens in NASCAR.
Well, bump and run is something you used to do. You used to cheat and run. Bump and run is certainly something that you know all about.
I never could.
Illegal bump and run.
Yeah, you had
bump and run. That's what they call it. Hit them in the fender, move them over, slide right by them.
Yeah.
We had Kevin Skrabinski on the other day, and he's bragging about Gene Bartow, and unfortunately, he didn't mention you and I much.
He didn't mention either of us.
No, but he was a cheat and run. And you were too, and I was.
Wait a minute. Gene Bartow was a cheat and run?
Oh, sure. Scott.
Barry.
Sonny knows he was. If you wear a tie and you have a nice looking suit, then you're a lot above Sonny and I.
No.
You go in there to recruit. I didn't lose any guys in Birmingham, but I could have because he had on a tie, and I did.
Did Sonny have a clip-on tie? Sonny have a clip-on?
No, Sonny didn't have any. If he had a tie on, it was a clip-on. But most of the time, he had something that had, he had Auburn written on the front and the back. down the leg.
I was voted best dressed in the conference twice, Barry. I just want you to know that.
Coach, I want to ask you this. Alabama got a great kicker. He was voted the best kicker in the country last year. He went to Miami of Ohio. Their coach, Chuck Martin, came out yesterday and they asked about and said, "Oh, we know where he is. He's over at Alabama." They tampered with him to get him, and so evidently he's saying that they tampered with him prior to him getting in the portal. He wasn't happy about it. They asked Coach DeBoer. He said, "Hey, the guy went in the portal, and we got him." Can you imagine now? When you guys were coaching, guys didn't transfer because they didn't want to sit out unless you told them to leave. But now
that was a bump and run.
Yeah, can you imagine?
That's a bump and run. Wim did the bump and run good.
The bump and run that's going on behind the scenes now with these guys, players, trying to. You just call somebody, the high school coach, and you kind of say, "Hey, we would have interest." That's tough, right? There probably was something there, not directly, but just your thoughts about all that.
You can't. Well, here's the thing: you can't keep the alums out of encouraging a guy to transfer or to go to, if they're close to him. They'll say you ought to go to Alabama if he stays in Birmingham, and we got him at Auburn. You ought to go to Alabama, or if he's in Auburn going to Alabama, you ought to go to the other school. The alums get involved in this, and the coaches get blamed for it, and generally they're not even involved. Of course, now Wimp might have got in a little more involved than I did, of course, as you would know, Barry.
Of course, I did, yeah. Sure.
All right, Auburn, not this weekend, but they kick off against Alabama A&M. Now, that sounds like a dad schedule. He would play, somebody you're going to whoop up on the first game there. But I think they probably need that, right? They need a game they can win. Everybody leave the stadium happy. They'll get to play a lot of players. Just your thoughts about playing an opponent like Alabama A&M when you're Auburn in the first game.
Well, I think they are talking up Auburn higher than I've heard them around here in a long time. We always overdo that, of course. But everybody seems to think Auburn is a real deal, and it is kind of laying in the weeds. Could be a team that could actually go for the championship, not win it maybe, but put a strong move in there. And I think the optimism around town and around among the Auburn people is extremely high. And I think the start of the first game is going to be a good example of what people are thinking. They think you're going to have a high-powered offense and a very solid defense, and nobody knows. But I don't think I've seen people quite as high on Auburn as it has been in a long time around town.
Yeah,
Well, you got 5 straight home games. And,
I think that's got a lot to do with enthusiasm. I think they can win most of those. I don't know that they can, but that is one of the big things.
Switching to basketball, Bruce is going to bring a team in and play Illinois. I think it's Illinois, or I'm not sure positive into Birmingham and play. Certainly not as many players. I don't know how much the Birmingham players are looked at like they used to be. Everybody's running to the transfer portal now. Transfer portal, if we had the transfer portal when you and I were, I'd have lost a lot of guys, I'm sure. You'd probably lost Barkley early.
Sure would. We both would have, no question. If you aren't playing, transfer. If you get a better deal, transfer. Yeah. It's easier to transfer now than it was.
Yeah, that's right. So I think I think recruiting has really changed based on grabbing the transfer portal versus going out and see players and seeing how many. Alabama's had a great recruiting year according to.
Well, since the transfer portal has become so easy to do, it's easy for a coach to say, "I'd rather have an experienced player, a guy that's been there and done that, and not have to recruit." You don't have to recruit all every day, every hour. Say like we used to because of the transfer portal. Guys, they can get people interested and get them going a lot easier. Not even have to go out on the road much. It's a transfer portal. I don't know if it's even good for basketball, to be honest.
Coach, lastly, I know when we went to South Carolina the first year, we went to Maui. I know you have a hard time traveling with your wife, but you got to try to make that Maui trip. I'm sure you've been, but they play Iowa State over there. But it's a long way, hard to get over there, but it's nice. Will you be traveling to Maui with the team? Maybe Dad could go in your place.
Hey, longest trip I'm going to make is Roan Mountain, see my brother. I ain't going to Maui.
Pick up some Jack Daniels.
The only time I go out of state, see some relatives.
Is that when you run out of Jack Daniels?
Yeah. Well, I bring a little bootleg back and keep everybody in town happy, and they like me a lot better. Yeah. But my brother ain't doing any business as much as he used to be.
Oh, that's sad.
My dad's reputation, he kept our liquor business going good, but my dad's been dead a long time, so my brother ain't
probably changed sheriffs, and he caught on.
That's right. Well, my dad's a deputy sheriff. They couldn't catch us.
Did y'all have a sheriff in your back pocket over there? Up there?
Sure they did.
Well, we didn't have it. Didn't have a sheriff. Our dad was the deputy sheriff.
Oh, well, you're good then.
Yeah, he was the guy that kept us in business, and my mother was the one that sold them. We was the one that were the lookout. I was the lookout. Look, see if somebody's coming to get it or somebody's coming to steal it.
You were the lookout?
Oh, I lived right on top of a hill. You know, you've been to Roan Mountain.
Yeah, I know.
I lived right up top of it. I could see the law coming in all directions, so we never got caught. If you did, my mother put the liquor in the bed with us.
Well, how did you signal down there to them when you saw them?
Yeah, how would you notify them that they were coming? How would you let
them know that what they was doing?
Well, so my dad was a deputy sheriff. He'd let us know.
Yeah, well.
No, he was not a deputy sheriff. He was a constable.
Constable.
Yeah, a constable. They don't have constables anymore, but they were elected.
If you're a constable, you're a little bit more honest, aren't you?
No, you're not controlled by anybody except the ones who put something in your hand.
Okay.
Well, Coach, I don't know what you got. Any weekend plans this weekend?
Yes, stay right here and take care of my wife, who's been sick for a long time. We're getting by real good though now, so I'm very happy.
Well, have a great weekend. Watch some country westerns. Be a little football.
I will.
You can watch.
Tim Holt. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
All right. You got all pretty rapid there. All right. Let's talk.
Ball and high weeds.
Let's talk about Bryant Bank before we get to break.
Well, Bryant Bank's not lost. Bryant Bank got locations in Tuscaloosa that we talk about all the time, and then after that, you've got the locations in Birmingham as well. So it's an outstanding opportunity for you to go in and really bank online as long as you wish to. Your money is safe. The banker you'll know after one trip, and the bank is going to be a place that you can go in and do whatever you need to do with the people that work for the banker. So go by Bryant Bank and tell them to hurry on Inside the Locker Room and keep them advertising on our show. I think we've done some good for them. A lot of people have called me and told me that they're going by Bryant Bank now, and I appreciate that. So go by there, get you an account there, and tell them you heard it Inside the Locker Room.
All right, we get back. I need the listeners to help me out on something. There's a serious thing that's really kind of bothering me, and I want to talk to you about it now when we get back. It's been going on here for quite a while that it just kind of eats at me a little bit. So I'm going to tell you what that is when we get back from break. You listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, it's been a very pleasant morning on this TGIF. We've had very minimal delays in the area. The construction zones are pretty much all you have to worry about, and it's basic slows. So you have that, of course, on Lurleen Wallace in both the north and southbound lanes between.
It's the year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rent-a-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance and
/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511 today. All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Tide 100.9. For more coverage of Alabama football, visit us at Tide100.9.com or download the free Tide 100.9 app.
The Crimson Tide will not be denied.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. All right, this is on a serious note here that I want maybe get your opinion on it. It just kind of happened this week. We didn't talk about it at all when it was first going on. That's all they talked about. And I'm talking about the Darius Miles situation. Like, how long does it to keep that guy in jail over there? Nobody's talking. No, Mary Turner and them are trying to do it, but the judge denied the bond again. We all know he did not pull the trigger, and this thing, I don't know when it's ever going to get to trial. This guy's been sitting in jail over there for a year and a half. You look at another appeal to try to get bond over there. I hate that there was a death in this situation. Maybe he played a bigger part than what I've read, but it seems like he ought to be able to get out on bond. It takes so long for these trials to get to trial. I don't know. I kind of feel bad for the guy. The other guy that pulled the trigger, he needs to stay in there. But and maybe I don't know enough facts. But it's frustrating to me that they just deny it every time this guy's sitting over there in jail. Now nobody's even talking about it anymore. Any thoughts about that?
Well, I don't know much about it. The person that pulled the trigger's in jail?
Yeah, he's in jail. Yeah.
Who is that now?
Michael Harris was with him that night, and so it was Darius Miles' gun. Yeah, he's in jail, but the guy that was in the car, they can't even get him down here, and he's running around, and this guy's just been sitting over there in jail. Darius Miles, they know he didn't pull the trigger. It seems like you could he's got a good family there. They could put him on house arrest or something and get him out.
I think it's confusing is his mother has been involved in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And would have, sometimes when you have a parent that's been involved with it, they've got enough pull, if you want to call it pull, or whatever you can to get their sons out. So, that was what I didn't quite understand. I didn't know whether, I'm sure she's worked hard to get him out. And I'm sure she's been there every time the judge makes this decision and has made this decision every time against him. I don't know. It's been.
Well, I just think about it. If that was your son over there and he didn't pull the trigger, maybe he did make some mistakes, but just to sit over there in jail, man, for this long, and then you don't even know when the trial's coming. I don't know. It bothers me. Maybe it doesn't bother anybody, but nobody's talking about it anymore.
It really is. It hasn't affected Alabama in recruiting at all in basketball.
But I'm saying nobody's even talking about the kid over there. Like it just came in a wind. They did report it, but on the shows and all, I just don't hear anything about him. Anyway, I wanted to.
I don't really have an answer to. I hate to see a kid like that, because it was a lady that lost her life. It is a very, very big deal, and I don't know. I
know Mary Turner and those. They're probably, but you would think Mary Turner's been in this community for a long time. I don't know why the judge keeps denying it, but it sounds like he's not wiggling. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline. I just wanted to bring that up and get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Coach. I don't understand this situation either. And, I'm going to disagree with you about the publicity part of Darius Miles. Nick Kelly, and don't run me down the country. I know he's with AL.com. But he has done an outstanding job covering this situation. And I think being accurate about it, kind of down the same road you're going, Barry. I don't know if you ever read Nick Taylor.
No, I do. And I'm not saying, I mean, they did report, I'm just saying, but I don't hear any of the shows talking.
The other day
I don't hear any of the shows talking about it when it was first out, So, but a guy's sitting over in jail, man. He's sitting out there, and he didn't pull the trigger. Now he may have done more than I realize, but I feel sorry for the whole situation, to be honest.
Well, I don't understand the judge. Now I love the judge as a person. Don't get me wrong, but I don't understand the legal aspect of being denied bail when you're not the one that's guilty. You're an accessory. Can you deny bail to an accessory that many times?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough.
It is, and I think I agree 100% with what you're saying. It really is disturbing if you want to know the truth, because not only if you have a child and you put your child in that situation, but you put yourself there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you go, wow, can this really happen in America?
Yeah. So it takes so long for anything to get to trial, and then they talked about there's several other big trials in front of his. So, when will this thing ever even get to trial?
Has the Alabama coaching staff tried to help this situation?
I don't know.
I think they're scared of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they were probably told to completely leave it alone just for...
I do, too. Yeah. I do, too. Because it has the potential to be... it was some things that were said that were missteps from a publicity angle to begin with from Coach Oates. I think. Am I correct? You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, initially. And I think I did read the article. I guess they went to the kid's apartment. He talked to the investigators and all without representation, and so now they're trying to get a lot of that thrown out because he wasn't read his rights yet. So, a kid didn't, and he offered to go down to the station, but that's why you just be quiet and lawyer up in these situations.
You have to, because everything can be twisted around, it seems.
Yes.
But I agree with you. I share the same sentiment that you do. And again, I am no legal. I'm not that. But it just appears to John Q. fan that there's something's not right here.
Yeah, I agree. But
and I can't believe Miss Turner. I have a lot of confidence in her abilities.
Yeah,
hadn't been able to. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I don't know crap.
Yeah. Well, it's just surprising, but there must be more to it than we know. So
it's got to be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be, because we're sitting around here reading the paper, this, that, and the other, and talking about it, and we really don't know all the sausage making.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. What else you got, Tom?
Well, I had called earlier, and I was going to bring up something I come across to see if y'all had seen it. Hannah Denham with AL.com wrote an article on the NIL agency, if you would, that John Parker Wilson runs.
Yeah.
And it's called Walk of Champions. I didn't realize this even existed.
Yeah, I didn't either. I saw it this morning.
Read the article, and they are dissolving that. Have you? What do you know about this?
No, well, I saw what you saw, and I guess they were trying to make it to where if you made a donation, you could use that as a tax write-off. But they're saying these athletes are not. They're giving to the athletes. That's not a tax write-off. So I don't think they raised a lot of money, but evidently they're closing up shop. I don't know much about it other than what I read in the.
Okay, so you're like me. You read the article, and, which I thought she did a pretty darn good job of explaining the position of Walk of Champions, and like you say, desired to make it to where if you donated, you could write that off. And but
given to an athlete is not a charitable organization, which is obvious.
If they do something charity,
which they're not. So most of them,
no.
Yeah,
but I was curious about that, and the maybe and the conversation has been that things will change in a year about anything made over $600 can be called into question and evaluated whether or not it's true NIL, and, about who determines what is and what's not and all this kind of stuff. And I was thinking about that when I read the article, and I wondered if it was a cut and run because of the new rules coming down.
Yeah, probably. I think they may be doing away with a lot of that because those are collectives. That's not really, and I guess that's where they use the NIL, but supposedly there's going to be a committee that anything over 600, it has to all be legitimate, which I think if there's any way to do it, and they have to do it at a conference level. I don't know how you could send that to all the schools could send that in. It would take forever to go through each one of those. So we'll see.
I don't see how you do it.
You can't.
It's logistically, it's impossible.
No way. Exactly. So anyway. All right, my man. Thank you, Tom. All right, Tom's a great caller there. We appreciate him calling. Now we got to get to Cowboy. We'll go to break. I don't want to cut my man Cowboy short. We'll get to Cowboy and then wrap up the show. That's a Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we're going to do our Free-for-All Friday edition, sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We're also going to feature College Football Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Famer. John Hanna is going to be talking about the Pigskin Preview. Going to be a big kickoff event coming up on Monday. He'll tell you more about that. We'll talk to Brent Beard, and we'll take your phone calls starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. It's been a TGIF free flow morning for the most part. And even McFarland and Lurleen Wallace, that intersection is starting to thin out. Also, moving along the rest of the freeways inside that construction zone. You don't have to worry too much. 2059 eastbound looking good.
Even when the power is out, you can too with Spire rebates up to $600 when you switch to natural gas. Learn more at spireenergy.com/reliable.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today. Tuscaloosa's high around 90. Tonight, fair and pleasant, the low 65. Tomorrow, sunny with a high at 91. Hot and dry weather Sunday and Monday. The sky's sunny both days. Highs between 92 and 95 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Two-time state champion and two-time NIT champion Barry Sanderson breaks down the latest in sports on Inside the Locker Room on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back. We've got a couple minutes here left. We'll wrap up the show. Get right to the Yellowwood Hotline. Hey, Cowboy.
Hey, Cowboy.
Hey, Barry, y'all paid for the whole show and all those commercials.
Yeah, they seem to get longer and longer. Yeah.
They're paying for us, that's for sure.
Well, y'all can get a kick out of that. Geez, Lord, what a bunch of commercials. I kept going, well, it's going to end, and it kept on. But, hey, Coach, you need to get...
That's what they call using people. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Coach, you need to get Roku TV. There's a bunch of cowboy shows on there. Virginia, Hopalong Cassidy, Wells Fargo. They got Rifleman, all kind of stuff on there. I heard you and Coach Gill talking about cowboy guys.
Yeah, well,
he cracked me up a few weeks. Yeah, he cracked me up a couple weeks ago. Coach Smith talking about Lash. He could pull an eye out of a possum.
Well, yeah, he could knock the top off a Coca-Cola bottle.
Pull the eye out of a possum. Wow.
I mean, like with a lasso, he could just go so fast.
Boy, he was something.
Hey, Cowboy, before we let you go, the Blue Plate is SMU minus 25. You're out there in Texas. What are your thoughts about SMU, and then will they cover that 25 against Nevada?
I think they'll cover it. There's high expectations at SMU this year.
Really?
I think they got a great defense.
Really?
They got a quarterback coming back.
I tell them they had a great defense. They wouldn't listen to me.
Well, Doug Bell said it was a lock, so we'll see.
Oh, God. I better backtrack, man. Now, they got quarterback coming back. They got defense coming back. they're playing Nevada, and they're going through with a new coach. So I kind of like SMU there. They got a couple transfer running backs from Miami. And, Rhett Lashley's trying to make a name for himself on CBS Sports Channel tomorrow out there and, maybe get his name in the forefront of some jobs that'll be open come November that might be better than SMU.
All right. We got to get out. Thank you, Cowboy.
All right.
All right, Digger, real quick. You got the last word real quick.
Yeah, I knew Phillip would be calling back crawfishing. Okay, he's trying to lend credence to his argument, and he didn't do it very well. The point I'm trying to make here is that we beat y'all head to head. We're the champion of the Big 12, and I guess that makes us champion of the SEC.
0-2. 0-2 against Kalen DeBoer, Digger. We got to go. All right, that's it for today's show. Gary's mad at me. I've gone over. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama Sports. Have a great day, everybody.